And I know like yesterday everybody must have got extremely tired, and it was challenging all of us to get up in the morning, and especially I had a very tough time too, because I had to prepare for the message. Last night I'm worn out and body didn't cooperate, and anyway, thank God for that. And sometimes, when we have things like that also, we have to think back what is important in our life and get back the energy, whatever we need, and study the word and prepare and come back to His presence. That is what God looks at us, and that He wants us to give reverence to Him. Because day-to-day world we get busy in so many things, and but then when it comes to the presence of God, sometimes all these things will allow us to restrict to come. But God sees that what are you giving to me? What are the preferences you give to me? So always good to be in the presence of the God on Sundays. So last few weeks I've been studying on that changing the way we think, putting the mind of Christ. So our thought process and everything we can think. If Christ, the Holy Spirit is guiding us, how we make our decisions. That is the series we keep on going with. So last 2 weeks we looked at that God has created all of us with the spirit of leadership. He gave the authority to rule the earth. We were all existed before the earth was created. God had created us, before the universe was created, before the earth was created. So He gave that authority to us. So we lost that authority that Adam had sinned. So God's Spirit left Adam. Because of that, he lost the spirit of leadership in him. And we surrendered to the devil who took over this world. That's why the devil rules the world, while God's Spirit was not existing in the human. So the whole plan of redemption of God is to bring back the Spirit of God into us, so that the God's Spirit can guide us to be the leaders, to be the people God wants us to be. And that is why Jesus came to the earth, He died for our sins, and so that once we accept Jesus as our Lord and Savior, the Holy Spirit will come back to us, restored back where it was existing before, and then guides us. So what we take back here is, so that's where we finished last week. So we want to think is, if the Holy Spirit comes back and restores into our mind and wants to communicate with us, He wants us to be that person what God intends to be. That means He wants to be the ruler. He wants us to be the leader. He wants us to be the dominating the things, what God called us to do on this earth. Because He has a purpose for all of us. He wants us, each one of us, to do certain things. So what we want to do today is, how we can be a leader, what God expects from us. And so to become a leader is a different mindset. So that is what we want to look today. And so if you look at it, leaders are very unique people. When you look at any leader, who has been successful, they are unique. And they have a very simple distinction, that is, their thinking is different. The way they think is different. That's what makes them leaders. And leaders do not think like followers. And leaders used to be followers, all of them. They're all followers one time. But they do not think like followers. If you want to make an impactful personality, you want to make a difference in this world, we have to develop a certain types of thinking, certain types of mindset. The way we look at ourselves and the way we look at the world, So that's where the whole thing perspective is. How do we think about ourselves and how we think the world around us. So that's where the perspective of thought process makes a difference. That is called spirit of leadership. So we'll look into that. What is this called spirit of leadership? How we can change the way we can think to be the leaders God intends to be. There are two animals on the planet that the Creator identified Himself with. Last week we looked at it. It's the first one is the eagle, and the second one is the lion. When God identified these two animals, which is characteristics. That means that he put something in them that what God was associating with himself. So when we see that, we want to study them. We want to study these two animals. What is in there that God, identified himself with? What is the attitude of these animals? So we'll look at some of those things as well, and so that we can understand. And because if you think about it, that both of them are the kings of their domain. If you look at the eagle, it's a king of the bird's domain. If you look at the lion, it's the king of the animal domain. So they are the kings of their domains. And so when the lion has a spirit of leadership, when we look at the spirit, it means attitude, attitude. See, lion has an attitude of leadership. And so what is that lion has? The leader has an attitude that makes him or her different from followers. That is what differentiates the leader. The leader has an attitude that makes him or her different from followers. And the lion exhibits that attitude. So we all have to cultivate that attitude. We all have to cultivate that the lion has, and the lion apparently has the characteristics of God. And so we want to identify to see what is that lion is significant than the other animals with it. Because the animal is the ruler of all the animals. It's like a king. But God made all of us to be the rulers of His kingdom. He wants to rule all the animals. He rule all the things on the earth. So when lion is the king of the jungle, but the lion to me is the greatest source of encouragement for all of us. Let's look at how can lion be the king? Lion is the king, but it has so many deficiencies itself, but he's still the king. So why it made the king? And if you look at lion is not the tallest animal in the jungle. Lion is not the largest animal in the jungle. And lion is not the heaviest animal in the jungle. And lion is not the smartest or the most intelligent animal in the jungle. But yet, lion is the king. You don't need to be intelligent, you don't need to be smart, you don't need to be, certain height, certain weight. And all these advantages, you don't need to be a leader. What's the main thing, if you look at it, that shocks with the lion is not larger than giraffe, or heavier than bigger than elephant, or heavier than hippo, or smarter than hyena or snake. If you look at it, each has their own distinct qualities. But lion is named of them. So the lion therefore cancels all of our excuses for becoming a leader. Sometimes when we want to become a leader, we think that I don't have this, I can't do this, I'm not good at this. We always limit ourselves that when given an opportunity to lead, we think all these restrictions and don't take that responsibilities. In work we may get all these opportunities. Some people, what their managers look for us from us is what type of attitude this person has. That is how they look at managers. When they want to make somebody a lead or somebody a manager, they look at their attitude. If this person has the attitude to be the leader, who can make decisions, who can be someone different than other people, that is how they look at it. So when we see that the lion is not like the smartest or greatest or whatever the characteristics anybody can boast of, lion doesn't have anything, but it's the king, it's the leader. So what makes the lion so unique? An army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lion led by a sheep. Think about it. There are two groups of things. There's an army of sheep led by a lion, and there's an army of lions led by a sheep. But an army of lion, which has all sheep also behind it, leading a sheep, can still win than a sheep guiding an army of lions. So basically why it is important, because we want a leader. Leadership is important. Lion has a different attitude that makes every animal afraid of him. Because lion is the king of one word, attitude. Lion's attitude is very different. than any other animal. Because of that, all animals are afraid of him. We don't want to live by fear, but what it means is a respect. When lion comes, every animal gives respect to them. It just walks like, when you see the lion walking anywhere, it just walks so confidently. Elephant respects the lion, hippo respects the lion, and hyenas respect the giraffe. Every animal, when the lion is coming, everybody moves around. Nobody wants to be close there. So what makes that massive animals respect this small lion? The attitude is the difference. For example, when the lion sees an elephant, it sees it as a lunch. It sees, I can eat that elephant. And when the elephant is 10 times bigger than the size of the lion, or 50 times heavier, and has so much power, with one foot it can kill the lion. But the lion sees the elephant that it can eat it. It thinks it can eat it. So what happens is, it doesn't look at the size, it doesn't look at the weight, it doesn't look at whatever the limitation it sees when it sees the elephant. What it thinks is, I can eat this thing. That is the attitude that lion has. So what it says is, since it thinks that way, it acts that way. Because it thinks I can eat it, so it goes and try to eat it. For it, size is not the problem. The weight of the elephant is not his concern. What makes him the way he thinks, because he can eat the elephant and he attacks it. So it's all on his thinking, his belief that I can eat this and it eats it. So leadership attitude is an amazing mystery. When you look at the lion way, that it's larger, bigger, stronger, more powerful, heavier, more, it's not, any of this. But when the elephant sees the lion, one word elephant thinks is, it's an eater. See, that's elephant thinking. See, elephant is bigger. Everything is bigger than lion. But when he sees the lion, his mind thinks, this guy is going to eat him. So his thoughts, his mindset reacts because he's thinking in that way. So the elephant is controlled by the way he thinks. He thinks he's a lunch. So the size, the weight, the power, the mind, whatever it is, all he has, but he is a victim of the way he thinks. So it has all advantages, but at the end of the day, it's a victim of how he thinks. If the elephant thinks, I can beat everything, he would have done anything, he would have just faced the lion like anything. But he thinks that lion is going to eat me. So automatically his thought process automatically reacts on his body. So, what we can see is, it does not matter how big you are, how intelligent you are, how many degrees you get, it's the mind that keeps you small. Because people may have many things to their achievement, but what they think is what makes the whole difference. It's your mind that makes you the leader, the attitude. The difference between a leader and a follower is the attitude. That's the only thing that makes a difference. Why? Because it's the unique attitude that distinguishes leaders from followers. And because they think differently, their attitudes produce certain behavior. When you have a certain attitude, automatically your behavior changes accordingly. And so it is the thinking that makes a person see the circumstances differently. We all may face different situations, we all may face different crises, different, situations at work, at home, or anything. But how you look at this situation makes a whole difference. It's a perspective, it's a thought process. How do you think? This is all we always have to think. How do you think the situation? And, attitude is a product of belief. What you believe is what reflects your attitude. It's very important to develop a leadership, because attitude is a product of belief, and you cannot have an attitude beyond your belief. That means, if you believe this will happen, I can only be this much, you can only do this much because you're limiting your belief in that. This is all I can do. But if you have an attitude that I can do anything, then you open up, beyond what you can do. See, the lion is the king because of what he believes about himself and what he believes about others. See, that's what I mean. He can believe he's the king, he can eat, but he also thinks about what elephant can do. I can eat this, I can eat it. It looks at the perspective on other things. So his belief situation controls the whole situation when the his belief is what controls the whole situation when it sees something. So our life always should be in a way that whatever we want to do in our life, we have to believe on something and then approach that belief to pursue it. Because if we don't believe in certain things, we go on a random basis, because it's vision and goals, these are things is very important in our life. And see, one of the things, what I learned is that, we all went through we all went through, good education and all that. But certain things will define our destiny. What decisions we make will determine who will be at the end of the day. And sometimes we go by accident. Things go like, I just tried it, it worked, it went. Sometimes you believe something and you approach that. This is what I want to be, and you do that. So certain things, what I had, in my life is, at age 12 itself, I defined myself, I want to be a mechanical engineer. That's the goal I put myself at age 12. And I didn't want to deviate from that. That's what I defined myself to be in. But when I went to the engineering thing, on the day of the entrance examination, I got sick. The day before and that day, I got sick. And I got in vomitings and all that. I'm at a point where I felt like I don't have energy to even take a test. But I went there, I didn't, I got the score, but not the way I intended to get. And so I got civil engineering in the government college at the time. But I denied it. Because at that time, my goal, my belief, my vision was I want to be a mechanical engineer. So that's how our focus was. But I didn't get that, so I denied it. I felt, let me look at the second round, maybe I have a chance. And then the second chance, I got an opportunity to be a mechanical engineer, so I went there. But, and then when I'm in the second grade, I had decided that I want to come to US. Second engineering only, I made a goal. This is what I want to be. I did not want, so I decided I don't want to take MTech, I don't want to prepare anything like that. This is what I want to be, and this is what my focus was. And so, that time, 30 years back, it's very difficult. One in a class, somebody who used to come, very, very difficult. Very rich people used to come at that time. But I know my family situation, I know it's impossible to get it, but I decided, okay, this is my goal. Let me pursue that, whatever I can do. And my parents said, we will do anything we can to help you to achieve that. And the best thing is, on the day, on the last finals, because to come to US at the time, you have to have distinction. If you get distinction, you have a high chance of getting an admission. And the last year, because I was always in this leadership team, I was always a speaker in everywhere I go. In all the engineering department, I was a speaker. So some professor did not like what I was talking. He didn't like why this guy is always, sometimes what happens is when you are confident, some people look at you as arrogant. So there's always a perspective how you look at it. But one of the professors didn't like it. So he failed me just in one lab. One lab he failed. So I passed everything. All my degrees completed. I got distinction scores, but I failed in one lab. Just because one professor did not like what I spoke on the final outgoing student. All happened is my vision is at the collapse, because you can't get a degree At that time, if you write that a course and pass it, because you become a compartmental. So you lose the distinction, you lose the degree. You lose the class. So how do I come to America? My vision was at the point of break. But I'm not going to give up. I have to come to America. So what do I do? What are the chances I have? I have to cancel all the subjects, 16 subjects, write again, get the pass that 16, get the degree, distinction, and then I have to come to States. But I took that because I believe I have to be here. My vision is I have to be here. And I took the risk. Everybody said, are you crazy? My parents told me not to do that. I said, fine, I'll deal with this. So I cancelled it, took 16 subjects again, went through all that, passed through, got distinction, came back to years as fixed schedule time. The thing is, sometimes you have to believe and then stick to it. Sometimes we have to focus on things. If you believe that you can do it, no matter what obstacle you get, we may overcome that. But if you don't have that strong belief, sometimes we may compromise. We may end up, doing it. Ephesians 3:20 says, now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power that works within us. God is giving us the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit. With this power only we can do. I did not do because I have something this, because I depended on God, because I know that I cannot do that. It's very difficult for me to achieve the goal. So I asked God, Lord, you need to help me here. And because the Spirit helped me, because I have only 2 months to prepare all the 16 subjects, finish it, and then I can come in January, because our exams finish in April, May time frame. And then in January I have come here. So I have only a short period to do that. But when God is with us, when the Spirit is with us, we can do far more abundantly than all we can ask or think. Your life is what you think it should be. This is exactly what it is right now. Who we are is what we think we should be. You are what you are, your thoughts should be. If you do not like who you are, you should change the way you think it should be. So if you think it is not the way I want to be, our thought process should be different. You have to think differently. And this is how leaders are born. Leaders are born because they think different. There is no amount of training in leadership skills or management matters or titles. Those are not the things that will bring strict leadership things. But what is important is the right attitude. If we have the right attitude, we automatically become the leader. Nothing can substitute for that. So there are 3 things you have to look for it. The perception of who you are, why you think you exist, and then your sense of significance. So these 3 points are important. The perception of who you are, who am I, very important. And then why do you think you exist? Why did God put us on this earth? Very important. A lot of times people ask this question, I don't have a name, I don't know, why. So there's always an ambiguity there. So we have to think about why do you think you exist? And then your sense of significance. Is there something that God wants me to do? What do you think He gave me? So you have to first change your perception of who you are, and that starts with the belief system. Because it's the belief that controls the whole thing. Then you have to think why you exist, and the last sense of significance. Most of our perceptions of other people, how they think about us. A lot of times we go by that. And whatever other people say about us, we think that's our perception. We go by that thought, what other people believe about us, and we try to follow that. But you have to discover you were born for something. This is what we all have to think. We are born for something. There is some reason, some purpose in our life that God has given us this, or put us this. If we don't discover that, we always have a job, we end up a normal life, and we have an average tombstone. Because that's a normal thing. But if you discover you are important to the human race, you are important to the world, you are important to the universe, if you're thinking that there is an importance, there is a creativity that God wants us to be, then the whole thing changes the way we think. You are born to do something significant in the world. God has a purpose. And you all have to believe that. You got to believe and cultivating that attitude, then only it tries to become a leader. When you start thinking this attitude, then automatically the leadership ability will come in. You can have all the potential, but if you do not have the belief, then the potential becomes a victim of the present belief. We saw that elephant has great power, but it believed that it can be eaten by the lion. So it became a victim of that. And the lion belief system, it was controlled it. So you do have the ability when you are born to be a leader. We have the ability because God has put that in us when we are born. So our mentality is not matching that the ability. God has put us ability. The mentality doesn't think that way. So because what happened is, that is why all our capacity to live is buried under your lack of belief system. Because God gave us ability, but we believe we don't do it. Because of that, all the leadership skills was buried because we were not able to, tap into that. So belief is so powerful, it can make an elephant like a sheep in the presence of a lion. So that is why this belief system we have to work on. And so when you discover who you are, you can't help to be confident. That's why people who are confident, they know exactly what they want to be and they execute their stuff. They feel confident in that. It may look like they're arrogant, but a lot of the people who have that, they change the perception, the way they change the way they think. So we look at integrating the principles, integrating the attitudes, aptitudes, and altitudes produces the leadership. So this message is, I want to give more on thinking the way to be more like an effective leader, okay? Because it's much more, we look at so much on the scripture side, but I want to take this more, how we can integrate the leadership ability that God has given, not only into the secular world, but I've also tapped into that we can able to go and be a mighty vessel in the hand of God. The leadership is very important to win people for Christ as well. So, you can never fully carry out the mandate of leadership if you do not have the mentality of leadership. So, there are three things we have to always look for: attitudes, aptitudes, and altitudes. Attitudes, aptitudes, and altitudes. These three produces leadership. First of all, attitude has to be right. It got to be married to attributes. Attitude is how we think, right? Then it has to be married to attributes. Attributes are the gifts that you were born with. And then it got to be married to aptitude. Aptitude is that you educate and train to know the knowledge. So the three things. Attitude is a thought process, a mentality, a belief system. And it had to be merged or married to attributes. It's a gift that God has given. Each one is given a different gift. And then the third one is that we have to learn to grow in that area to expand the gifts God has given. That's attitude. That is why we study, we read the books, we educate ourselves. We always have to study all the time. A lot of times people think when you get a job and all that, you don't need to study, you're done. But the more you read books, the more you study, God opens up the wisdom that you can able to understand so many things. Then your altitude means that you got to change the level of associations you are in. We got attitude, aptitude, and altitude. Altitude means the level of people you are associating with. See, what kind of people you are having friends. See, that's what the altitude is. That's why when we are children, our parents want us to be associated with only good, people who have good character, good education, all that, right? They don't want us to go with somebody who is doing any bad stuff. They will say, hey, why are you going there? They stop us. Because the level of association is very important, because you got to change the level of association you are in. What's amazing is when you change your aptitude, you normally change your altitude. So when you educate yourself, when you increase your ability and all that, then automatically people change their altitude, the level of association, level of thinking. Leaders choose their friends based on their destination. When you look at a lot of the high-level people, when you look at the CEOs of the corporate, they only deal with people who are at that level, because that level of thinking is different. They don't go and have friendship with low-level people. Their thinking is different. They choose their people. Leaders choose their friends based on destination. So one of the keys for leadership is no one is responsible for your life except you. This is us. We make the decisions whether we want to be a leader, whether you want to be a follower. And so we always have to think about it. So belief system is what get exposed. And so when you study the eagle, right? Eagle, God identifies himself also as an eagle. Eagle flies at 3 to 4 miles above the earth. It flies at that level. And so when an eagle is flying at the top flight, if it sees another bird, it only is eagle. There is no other eagle, no other bird can be seen at that height. So the eagle will only see the eagle at that height. So the thought we have to take is, if we keep running into pigeons and ducks, you are flying low. So if an eagle comes and tries to look at the pigeons and ducks, which is flying at a low, our thought process, our thinking also will be low. But an eagle will always be flying at an altitude, and only eagles can be in that area. And one of the things, some of the traits of an eagle is, eagles are uncommon birds, depicted in the scripture as a victorious Christian life. When you see an eagle, it's like victorious Christian life. 6 traits of eagles is, eagles fly at high altitudes, not with low-flying birds like sparrows or other small birds. And principle with that is, if you want to be an eagle Christian, you need to fly with other eagles and stay away from sparrows and ravens. Sometimes you just have to be how we associate. With when you want to be a person who wants to go together, the level of associations you have to be very careful. The second is, eagles have a strong vision, with an ability to focus on objects even from 3 to 4 miles. It looks at from that angle, it looks at the vision. It focuses on certain thing. It sights his prey, and he will not move his focus from that prey until he successfully captures it. That's all it is. He looks at it, he focuses on it. It doesn't matter how many problems, how many obstacles it comes and captures it and knocks it. So what we can learn from it is, you have to have a clear vision and remain focused, whatever the obstacles may be. Very important. That's what my story when I told about it. Because my focus was to be here. I did not even look at that. I did not think about second chance. If I don't get it, what will my situation? You always look at the backups. I always think like that. Whenever you look at the backup, right, that means you're already giving up that I may not get it. So your already efforts are deviated before you even do it. So if you say that I don't have a backup plan, then that means you put everything for that. You have to get it. So that is what a vision is focused on. Eagles look at the prey and knocks it. And that's what you have to think about it. And then when storms, clouds gather, eagles get excited, and eagle uses the storm's wind to lift himself higher. See, when the storm's wind is coming, it uses the storm's wind and it tries to go higher and higher, far higher above the clouds. What the other birds do, they hide in the leaves and the branches of the trees to come from the storms. So what we can learn from that is the storms of life will help us to rise to greater heights. When God puts on these trials, storms in our life, these are the things that helps to build our character. Help us to get stronger and stronger. So the more we face, our way of handling these storms gets comfortable higher and higher. So like eagle, we have to be able to take those challenges. High achievers try to thrive on challenges and use them profitability. That is how the people who are leaders do. These are the people who take risks, who take challenges, and then go to the higher level. And then one of the things is, an eagle tests before it trusts. So eagle has this unique thing. It has to test their thing before it trusts somebody else. Even like when a female eagle meets a male and they want to mate, she first tests his commitment. Then and then only she will allow him to do that. So what is important is, even eagles, because they have a different family relationship, the female have to trust that eagle to make sure that this male eagle has a commitment for their children. So once it has to find a commitment, then only they will have the, now if you look at the stage, during the time of training, her young ones to fly, the mother eagle throws the eaglets out of the nest. See, this training is very different. They take the small eagle birds and they throw it, the mother eagle throws from the nest. So because they're scared, they jump back into the nest. Again the mother eagle pushes the eagles off the cliff. So they fall down. So they get feared farther, eagles, because they didn't know how to do it, they get feared there. And then what the male, the father eagle does is, it goes back and takes them on its back and then brings them back into the nest. So the mother eagle drops them and they're scared, they try to do, how do I survive? And the father eagle comes and picks them up and then brings back to nest. So they'll try to teach them for some time until they learn how to use their wings. So the thing is, what we can see is, principle is, that sometimes we have to push someone to succeed in their life. A lot of times people just need some push. Even our parents, sometimes if we don't study enough or if you are not wasting your time or something, you always say, do this, keep pushing. Because if you don't push, sometimes they may not be able to achieve what they want to achieve. So this is doing in a loving way, but in good intention way, but we have to do that. Eagles don't always have a soft and easy life, nor will, any of us. Our life always will be challenging. But just as eagles illustrate, God is calling us to wait on Him and learn to soar higher above the chaos, trials, and what we go through, in our life. You always have to wait on the Lord. In Isaiah 40:31, talks about it. Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So that is how eagles are. When you wait on the Lord, then you will get the strength like an eagle. And Deuteronomy 32:10-12 says, He found him in a desert land, and in the howling waste of the wilderness, He encircled him, He cared for him, He kept him as the apple of His eye, like an eagle that stirs up its nest, and that flutters over its young, spreading out its wings, catching them, bearing them on its pinions. The Lord alone guided him. No foreign God was with him. See, the birds, there's a characteristic here. We see that if you pay close attention to this. The key difference that Moses described eagle compared to other cultures is, other cultures generally focus eagle as a powerful bird and all that. But what we see here is Moses focused on the gentleness. It's a God's character, It's a gentleness, it protects us, it takes care of us, it covers us under the wings. And also, the bird of prey can actually serve as a metaphor for God's love. And one of the things is, eagles never eat dead animals. It only goes for live prey. Vultures eat dead animals. Some of the things is important because we don't want all these things to get mentally, get into our mind all the bad stuff and then to get corrupted. A lot of things we always avoid it. And eagles are also defenders. Eagles protect, they defend, all these things. So they were one of the characteristics of that. So what we can look at is, a true leader begins to train under the care immediately to take the leadership. Suppose there's a leader, a manager is there. He wants to take other people who wants to be leaders and you train them. Because the capacity to lead is in every person of us. True leaders do not maintain followers. True leaders do not maintain followers, but true leaders build leaders. They focus on producing the leaders. That is why you see that in a big company they put always a hierarchy of the next level of management. These are the people who will take over. That's the first responsibility of a senior management people. What do we do if we leave there? So that's how true leaders will look at it. So think about it. Leadership is like a tree trapped in a seed. We all like seeds. And if you take that seed and plant it in a tile in a bathroom and keep it there for 50 years, it will not come out. It will be like a seed only, right? And if you take that seed and put it in the ground and put water in it, then the tree will come out. So what we see from that is, every one of us is a seed that was sent to this world to produce a tree to serve the world your fruit. So we are a seed. We were planted into this world that we can become a tree, and our fruits will become a gift to the world. That's the intention. So if the seed is not used in the right environment, seed is not kept in the right environment, nothing will happen. 50 years, there is no life in it. But if it's kept in the right environment, then the tree comes out and automatically the forest will come out. See, the environment that determines the opportunity to do. The leadership is like that. True leadership is manifested in attitude. And when we have that true belief, then we can automatically be able to achieve. So there are two concepts here: leadership spirit and spirit of leadership. Leadership spirit and spirit of leadership. And leadership spirit is what you are born with. The leadership spirit is what we were born with. It's a gift that God has given it. Yes. And then, but the ability you are born with is trapped by the mentality that we got from the culture. Because think about it, even if the families are all do the same thing, all the children do the same thing. They don't think beyond that, unless parents push them outside the comfort zone. Otherwise, everybody will live in the comfort zone. But, the mentality, is that if you want to be great, you got to divorce from traditions and cultures. So you have to break off from those traditions, then only you can be able to move on, And so you cannot lead from, if you look at sheep, right? They just follow the other sheep. It doesn't matter where the sheep is going, they just follow it. And they are not, it's the leader who decides which way to go. But the sheep are the followers. It's the mindset of a leader is what changes his attitude, life, and himself. And the spirit of leadership refers to attitude, mentality, and the mindset. I want to give you some points and then finish with this. There are 7 principles of true leadership. I'll just read the points and then we will close there. There are 7 principles of a true leadership. True leadership is inherent in the human spirit. The leadership ability is inherent in our human spirit. We have to believe that. We have to believe that God has given the spirit, and we have to act like that. True leadership cannot be taught. It must be discovered. So we have to explore that, and then it can be discovered. True leadership is self-discovery. Unless we have to think that whether we can be a leader, whether we are a follower, we have to think about it. We have to do a self-discovery about it. True leadership is serving your gift to the world. Everybody is given with a specific gift. The way we have to think is what can we do with that gift? How we can serve the world with that gift. And so that gift can be your strength, your unique power, whatever it is. And then 5 is self-assessment. We always have to evaluate about ourselves. A true leader always checks about himself. What is his mistake? What can we do? What are the faults? And he can always learn from it and then grow in that. And then true leadership is self-manifestation. The leadership is not an end of you, but trapped in you. You always, our mentality is a risk-taking mentality. You take risks. You make decisions by experiences. And then the last one is leadership is self-exposure, die and key. People do not understand why you do it. So a lot of times, when you make decisions in a leadership, a lot of people look at you, is this crazy or why this person has done it? A lot of these decisions are tough decisions. You are not a leader unless you are doing something you cannot pay for. You must be able to be a risk taker. If you are not a risk bearer, risk taker, you can never be a leader. That's the rule of thumb. Any person who are leaders, if you look at companies like, Microsoft or Amazon and all these people, these companies came because they took chances, they took risks. And they started believing on their belief, some vision, whether you can do it successful or not. But people took risks. So that is how people, achieve their dreams. And but people always, when you take a risk, one of the things you always have to remember is when you are with people around, and when you want to be unique, you separate yourself and take risks, take to a different decision. A lot of the people around you, whom we call ourselves friends, may not like that because they want you to be with them, with their level. So the first problem you get is when you are taking a bold step to move to the next level, is the people, all the enemies all the people start coming against you. And this is where how you break out. Sometimes you may have to lose your best friends to go to the direction to achieve a bigger goals, a bigger dreams. This is very important, So this is how you differentiate, you distinguish yourself from others. And when I quit JP Morgan job, right, it was the same thing. Everybody looked at me, are you crazy and this and that. Many people thought I made a very foolish decision. It looked like that. Definitely it looked like that. But it's a risk taker. I took a risk. And that risk, I trusted God and I took chances. Whatever happens, it happens. But those are the things that help us sometimes define a life, what you make with those risks. So finally, what we have to always remember is who am I? We have to look about our identity. Who am I? And where I came from. See, if you think I was born in a certain village, then or certain place, you are limiting yourself, I belong to that place. But if you think my father is God, I came from heaven, our scope is a bigger scope. See, our Father is our Heavenly Father who has created us. So our Heavenly and Holy Spirit, what He is doing is to connect us to our Heavenly Father. So when we're connecting us to our Heavenly Father, our scope is bigger. We don't limit ourselves to a certain zone, a certain area. We think we can achieve bigger dreams. So next thing we are thinking is, why am I here? What is my purpose of my life? What did God want me to do? And then third is, where am I going? Destiny, What is your destiny? What is the goal? What do you want to do? And last is, what should I do? The purpose. And these four are important. Who am I? Where I am from? Why am I here? Where am I going? What should I do? And if we don't answer these questions, then we will remain a follower, not a leader. Yes, Heavenly Father,